describe some stories from the Caitanya Charitamrita. We explain how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was delivered, the story of Sakshi Gopal, and also the story of Madhavendra Puri. So after this, there's a description of Lord Chaitanya's tour of southern India. How many people are coming here for the first time today? Okay. Well, the reason I asked this question is because those who are coming here the first time probably need a little introduction to what we are talking. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described as the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is the cause of all causes. It is not that everything came into existence just by accident. Nothing happens by accident. Everything has a cause. So, Krishna is the cause of all causes. Yesterday we were explaining that yesterday we had a group of scientists here for a program, and some of them were saying that nature and God is the same. But our response was, the nature is subordinate to God. So, nature is subordinate to God, or God is the cause of nature. So, yada hi dharmasa glanir bhavtir bharata. Krishna appears from time to time in different incarnations. The purpose is always one, to establish dharma. So, 500 years ago, dharma had declined considerably. Advaita Acharya was on the planet, and Advaita Acharya could see that even though he was so powerful, he was not capable of delivering the conditioned souls. So he prayed that the Lord may appear, and the Lord appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, God presented a very sublime method of self-realization. So as we all know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent his childhood days in Navadvip. But at that time in Navadvip, there were many speculators and impersonalists. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, he had gone to Jagannath Puri. We saw how in Jagannath Puri he liberated Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And after liberating Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took permission from all his associates and he left for southern India. And in southern India, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu flooded that place with love of God. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the house of a Brahmin called Kurma. So that Brahmin Kurma received Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely. And after washing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, that Brahmin Kurma told the Lord that he desired that he travel with the Lord. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Kurma that you don't have to travel with me. You can stay where you are. You can worship Radha Krishna, chant the holy names, read the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, and you will never be separated from me. Then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in southern India, there was another devotee who came to him. His name was Vasudeva Datta. We are talking about the real Vasudeva Datta, not the imitation, not the servant. So Vasudeva Datta was suffering from leprosy. So when he came to Kurma's house, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already left Kurma's house. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God. He is in everyone's heart, present as the Paramatma. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that this Vasudeva Datta has come to see him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to Kurma's house and there was Vasudeva Datta. Vasudeva Datta was suffering from leprosy. He was suffering from leprosy and there was pus coming out of his body all day. And he was such a compassionate person that when the germs from his body would fall on the ground, he would lift the germs back and put them back on his body. So Vasudeva Datta was a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he came to Kurma's house and he found out that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already left, he virtually had a heart attack, he fainted. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to Kurma's house, Vasudeva Datta offered his dandabats to him. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. But Vasudeva Datta said, "Why are you embracing me? Nobody even comes near me and you want to embrace me." Not only was Vasudeva suffering from leprosy and pus coming out of his whole body, but his whole body was releasing a very foul smell. So nobody would even come within yards of him. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he embraced him, Vasudeva became a very handsome man. All the pus from his body was gone. The dirty smell was gone. And he became a very handsome man. So very often the Christians talk of miracles that Jesus Christ did. You must have heard of those miracles. So Lord Caitanya also performed a lot of miracles. But we don't attract people on the basis of miracles. We attract people on the basis of philosophy. So when Vasudeva became a very handsome man, he began to feel very embarrassed. Why was he feeling embarrassed? Because only till moments ago nobody would even come near him, because his body was so filthy, and now he became so handsome. So he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what should he do? He was afraid that he is going to become proud, because all of a sudden he has become so handsome. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, chant Hare Krishna, read the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, and preach the glories of the holy name to everyone, and this way you will never become proud. So this Krishna conscious philosophy is very simple and easy to practice. Many of you who are here today probably live at home, because of course in our ashrams we don't have much facility. Through the two stories that I have revealed to you, you can see that Krishna consciousness can be practiced in any situation at any point. All you have to do is chant Hare Krishna and read the scriptures. Now when Lord Nityananda saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaving for South India, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, they did not want Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to South India. They were trying their best to discourage Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from going on his tour. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu insisted that he has to go. So Nityananda Prabhu had predicted, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his entourage leaving and dancing, he said one day the chanting of Hare Krishna will spread to every town and village of the world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in southern India, people from neighboring villages and distant places would all come to see him. And when they would come to see him, just by seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chant and dance, they would all be inspired to also start chanting and dancing. And by seeing others chant and dance, by seeing devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and others who were influenced by his devotees chant and dance, the others who were not devotees, they by seeing them would also begin to chant and dance. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu created a flood of love of God. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to a temple in South India where he saw that there was a man holding a Bhagavad Gita crying and a big crowd of people standing around him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was seeing that the man was crying and the people standing around him were laughing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the man and said, why are you crying? The man said, I'm crying because my spiritual master told me to read the Bhagavad Gita every day, but I'm uneducated and I can't read it. And still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, still, why should you cry? There's no need for you to cry. But he said that when I see that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, has become the chariot driver of Arjuna, and he's driving this chariot for Arjuna, then when looking at the humility of the Lord, my heart is lamenting. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced him and said, you have really understood the Bhagavad Gita. In other words, the purpose of studying the Bhagavad Gita is to understand the supreme position of God. There's so many people who read the Bhagavad Gita but they don't surrender to God. There's so many people who know the whole Bhagavad Gita by heart but they don't accept the supreme position of Krishna. They maintain that God is impersonal. So the important point is that we understand the real conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, which is Sarva dharman paritaja mam ekam shanam vraja. Give up everything and surrender to me and I will protect you. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leaving for southern India, he was warned by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that he would meet a very great devotee there called Ramananda Roy. So Ramananda Roy was the governor of a province in southern India called Madras. Actually, he is the incarnation of a gopi called Vishakha. So he was a very advanced devotee, thou holding a mundane position. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in southern India, he went to have a bath in the Godavari and there he met Ramananda Roy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy, what is the highest perfection of life? We should all be anxious to know what is the highest perfection of life. Just like giving a mundane example, any materialist rich man wants to buy a Mercedes car. Why? Because it's associated with success. If you're rich, then you want the best car. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy, what is the highest perfection of life? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was told by Ramananda Roy, following the principle of Varnashram. Varnashram means the division of society into 4 social and spiritual orders. According to our Vedic system, just like the human body is divided into different organs, the society must be divided into different sections. You have 4 social orders and 4 spiritual orders. You have the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. They are known as the Varnas. And then you have the Ashramas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Are all of you familiar with this? I realize there are a lot of newcomers, so I'm just talking about those aspects of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy that everybody can relate to. So, Varnashram, they must be just like in a body. The head must be there. If there's no head in the body, then the body is considered incomplete. So the head is compared, the Brahmanas are compared to the head of the body. The hand is compared, the Kshatriyas are compared to the hand. And the Vaishyas are compared to the belly. And the Sudras are compared to the leg. So these 4 Varnas must be there for society to be happy and peaceful. Today you have a system where you don't have anybody trained as a Brahmana, and the Sudras are trying to assume the position of the Brahmana. So the Vedic system is that they must be a class of men trained in spiritual responsibility so that they can guide the society on the spiritual path. So when Ramananda Roy presented this Varnashram as the highest goal of life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the highest goal of life is all that you do, everything that you offer with your thought, word and mind, you dedicate your life to Krishna. If the senses are not used in service to the Lord, then we have to recognize these senses will become our enemy. So according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the highest perfection of life is when body, mind and words are all used in service to the Lord. It is said the same senses can be the cause of our destruction, and the same senses if used in a controlled manner can be the cause of taking us back to Godhead. What is the nature of the senses? They can never be satisfied. Everybody is working to satisfy the senses. The animals are working to satisfy the senses, and the human beings are working to satisfy the senses. But the senses are not getting satisfied. Why? Because the senses can never be satisfied by a material arrangement. The great sages have concluded on this point that the senses can never be satisfied by any material arrangement. In the material world, everyone thinks grass is greener on the other side. And since they think grass is greener on the other side, everybody thinks with a little bit of adjustment, I'll be happy and everyone else will be happy. So everyone's making so many ambitious plans to realize happiness. But no amount of happiness can really, no amount of material success can make one happy. That is because the living entity is constitutional by nature, is spiritual by nature. And since the living entity is spiritual by nature, he'll be satisfied if he engages in spiritual activities. That is why this Krishna conscious movement is emphasizing the importance of cultivating spiritual principles. Because unless one cultivates spiritual principles, there cannot be any real happiness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed everyone, whoever he met, to please take to this process of devotional service to the Lord. Just like a father is concerned when the children rebel, the Supreme Lord, our real Father, is also concerned when the children rebel and don't surrender to Him. Therefore, the Lord appears, sends His representatives always with the same mission to bring everyone back to Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is meant to attract everyone, because this is a very simple and sublime method. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Brahmanda Brahmita Kono Bhagavano Ji, Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. After traveling through so many millions of births and deaths, is he the fortunate soul who receives the seed of devotion. Unfortunately, this knowledge that a living entity is transmigrating through innumerable species of life is totally unknown to society. There's so many institutes of learning all over the world, but no institute tells you how, what happens after death. This is the single biggest problem in society. There is lack of spiritual knowledge. People do not know what is going to happen after death. And they don't have the understanding that one is transmigrating through births and deaths. So after going to so many different species, as animals, human, ultimately by chance one receives the seed of devotional service. And once you get the seed of devotional service, this seed must be watered. Just like when you plant the seed in the garden, then you water the seed and then the seed grows. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that we water the seed of devotional service through the process of chanting and hearing. Like all of you who are assembled here today, you really didn't have to be here today. The weather is so nice today that you all could easily have gone out to the park or the beach or to visit friends. The materialist, when the weather is very nice, he thinks, how should I enjoy the weather? When the weather is very bad, he takes it as an excuse to stay inside the house. So he never has time to come to the temple of the Lord. But all of you who have come here in spite of very good weather have obviously come here because you have strong interest in spiritual life. Otherwise you would not be here. So now that you have come here, the question is, how can you further fan the desire of service to God? So you can fan this desire to serve the Lord if you continue this process of chanting and hearing. And this can be done by anyone. You don't need any special education to do this. And in addition to chanting and dancing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended that we regularly cultivate spiritual association. Why is that? Because if you regularly associate with spiritually minded people, then you will constantly be reminded about the real goal of life. And if you're constantly reminded about the mission of life, then you will never get sidetracked. So we should take advantage of this philosophy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us and thereby perfect our life. So friends, now we have a very nice ceremony called in which we worship this Tulsi plant. This Tulsi plant is not an ordinary plant. It doesn't grow in any garden. It only grows in the garden of devotional service. So what is this Tulsi? Tulsi is a pure devotee of the Lord. And by worshipping this Tulsi, you can be inspired to receive the seed of devotional service. So in this Tulsi offering, you will see that certain prayers will be offered to Tulsi Devi. I'll explain very quickly to you all the meaning of this. And after Aarti at 7:20, we'll have a Bhagavad Gita class. So in this Tulsi prayer, the devotee prays that, my dear Lord, I bow down before you again and again. Please give me the opportunity to serve Radha and Krishna. And whoever takes shelter of you will get his desire, will become a resident of Vrindavan. So to be a resident of Vrindavan, you don't have to buy an airflow ticket for 60,000 rubles. All you have to do is worship Tulsi Devi. And then you can become a resident of Vrindavan. And then the devotee prays, please may you give me the opportunity to serve Radha and Krishna birth after birth. Okay? So first all you devotees will have to offer respects to Tulsi Devi. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshuvasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Satyavatya Namo Namaha. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshuvasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Satyavatya Namo Namaha. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshuvasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Satyavatya Namo Namaha. Tulsi Mahārājā ki. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.